Hello, welcome to Wide Left Sports. Today I am joined by South Dakota State pitcher Drew McDowell. Drew, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Mitch. How about yourself?
I am doing really good, really good. It is great to have you on again. I know I had you on your senior year of high school when you were making your decision to go to Brookings, and now there you are. How has it been since you've made your way over to South Dakota?
It's been pretty good. This year has definitely gone a little better than last year in terms of classes and me getting used to everything and fall baseball itself too. And so I think that we're in for a pretty good year over in Brookings.
Heck yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit because there is quite that jump from high school to college. Whether it be classes or what, and especially
hmm
being an athlete. So what was that jump like for you your first year?
I mean, it was really tough trying to like as a 19-year-old kid going into college, trying to learn how to balance, 16 credits of classes that are pretty tough and learning to uh, do that along with, 25-hour week practices in baseball and trying to keep both of those things. And you want to hang out with your friends, but you have to do homework and study, and then you have weights in the morning. And so there's a lot of sacrifices that you have to make in order to be a college athlete. But I think that's one of the better things about being a college athlete is making those sacrifices and doing something you love. Yeah.
No, for sure. So follow up question to that. You said you took 16 credits your first semester. Are you somewhat crazy or like what were you
Yeah, a little
thinking go
bit. I
diving right in at 16 credits?
Yeah, it was a tough first semester because I had two science classes that were both paired to the lab. I had a math class that was paired to the lab as well, and just kind of like an intro to college class. And so it was a tough first semester, and this fall semester was tough too. I had my human anatomy course that was paired up with the lab, and so that class was very rigorous this fall.
Wow. That is insane. So then how do you juggle that with obviously, like you said, a 25-hour, you know, work week for your
hmm
sport of baseball. Plus, then you get into the season, and I'm sure you guys are like in Montana where you're gone half the season.
Oh yeah. It is really tough too, especially with last year. I was very fortunate enough to make the travel roster, and so I was able to help the team out last year. And that was really tough. We were gone. Our first series was in California last year, and we were gone for 2 weeks at a time, and it was really difficult as a freshman and not knowing how to, really work the online system that well and trying to do online labs for chemistry. That was something I'm glad I never have to do again. And so it was really tough trying to balance schoolwork and, enjoying your time on the road with your teammates, but also like making sure that you're putting your academic side first too and being able to wanting to get that done as well.
For sure. Well, let's move on from the school side of things and talk about the baseball side of things. So, you just mentioned you were on the travel squad as a freshman. And so, what was that honor like to get that and be so well thought of as a freshman player coming in?
Mhm. It was I mean, it was incredible. Me and one of my good buddies on the team, his name is Dayton Franke. We talked about it a bunch last year, and like our goal through the fall, like we were super nervous playing in the fall because we wanted to show to the coaches that we were good enough to make the travel roster. And when we did, it was a burden off our shoulders, and it was it was a huge boost of confidence to see that the coaches needed us and wanted us and thought of us as a really good contributing member to our team. So it was a good confidence booster.
That's awesome. So then also for people that don't know that baseball is a year-round sport for you guys,
hmm
you guys obviously have the spring season that is the main season, but then like you were
Yeah.
saying you have fall baseball.
hmm
So what is that season like for you guys?
So this year, for fall baseball, we had two kind of like exhibition games. One was against Jamestown. The other one, I forgot the team we played. but we only had 2 games. I know some teams, like it depending on where you're at, like they play a lot more games, whatever. We had a ton of little inter squad scrimmages in between the games and like in between the weeks. Like we would do, like if guys had bullpens or something like that, we switched them to lives and we'd do like a 3 inning. Like for the other pitchers who had bullpens that day, we would do like a 3 inning game, and so everybody could face live hitters, and the pitchers could face live batters, the hitters could face live pitching, and just to get better reps that way.
That's awesome. And um, so then with you having this like year round, I mean, I know you said you're doing a bullpen session today, even on
Hmm.
Christmas break. Having that year round grind of using your arm, how do you prep yourself for that kind of wear and tear so that you don't have an injury?
Yeah, that's. I've been very fortunate to be blessed with a very healthy arm, and my only issues have really been a little bit of bicep tendonitis here and there. But I think this summer it really comes to like this summer I went down to a place. It was called Adapt Physical Therapy. I was in Kansas City, and I did a throwing program and a weightlifting program through there, and I really saw the importance of mobility and pre-throw and post-throw. And so those two, the pre and post throw, are huge in order to, number one, to activate your body to allow yourself to get warmed up and to not put yourself in a bad position to where you're going to injure your arm. And with post throw, just allowing like after that wear and tear, like today, I'm going to throw my bullpen. And so I'm going to make sure I have a really thorough warm up. And then after that, I have to take the steps to allow for a good cool down and to allow myself to, allow for stretching after and just to make sure that my arm feels as good as it can for the next time that I have to throw.
That's awesome. So obviously, you came up through the Billings Legion program there with the Scarlets. I see
Hmm.
the poster there in the background from when you guys won the championship there.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to assume that your program today is with that same program over at Triple Play. So, what does it mean to still have their support, even though you are in college at South Dakota State, to be able to come back home and do your bullpen work and whatever you need
Hmm.
there?
Yeah. It's really awesome to know that I have people and programs supporting me wherever I'm at in the country, especially like coming back home and being able to use the Triple Play facility and to have Adam in there, and he'll watch my throwing and help me whatever I need, and there's tons of equipment in there, and so it really is a blessing to have such a facility that has all the tools that I need that can help me build up for the season.
For sure, for sure. So I obviously knew you from high school. I
Hmm.
called a lot of your games, and um, I got to witness how fast you were throwing in high school. And I know that once you get to college, they try to pump you up even more. So
Hmm.
if you were to say where you were clocked your fastest now, a year and a half into college, what are you throwing now?
I was very fortunate this fall to throw one. I think I only hit one at 96. And then I had a handful of fives. I had a bunch of fours. I think this fall I sat around anywhere from 92 to 94 on a pretty good day, and then like on my better days, I was 3 to 4. I put a bunch of fives up there, so I was very happy with my velo progression. That came from really hard work this summer and trying to stay consistent in that. And I'm working on my. I just had a deload phase, and now we're loading back up to get into the season right away, and so my velo's slowly going up and up in each bullpen during the winter. So I'm very excited to get back and to hopefully hit some higher numbers as well.
Wow, that is crazy because I remember seeing you in high school pumping high 80s, and I'm like, man, oh man, he is pumping fast gas there.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what it is now. So I guess with that, in a year and a half, you've added 5, 6 miles per hour to your fastball.
Hmm.
How did you do that safely? Because, like you said, you didn't have or you haven't had too many arm issues.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that I learned from high school to college, especially in the strength training side, not to train so much as a bodybuilder rather than to train like an athlete. And so, especially this summer, if I would have had my own program and like I was just making up the workouts on my own, I don't think I would have nearly been the player I was going into the fall. And so this summer we worked a lot of just like explosive movements. Like all of my intent was to not as less like to do a little lower in weight, but make sure the movement was violent in a sense. Like I want to, like if I'm doing a deadlift, like I want to be at a look, like not my heaviest, like it is going to take me 10 seconds to do the rep. Like I want it to be more fast twitch movement. And I think that was a huge step in the right direction this summer for me to take. And then another with that, and to increase in velo, I had to do a lot more. I'm not a very mobile person. I can always be better in my mobility. And so that's another way that I've tried to help. And that's been a huge way for my arm to stay healthy and to stay healthy overall.
That's awesome. And then another thing from your past is you were also West High's quarterback. So how do you think, playing football all those years, being the
Hmm.
quarterback, how do you think that that's helped you with your arm health and your arm longevity,
Yeah.
now into college being a pitcher?
I think it was because I was throwing the ball. I was throwing a ball year round. It kind of helped me just with arm conditioning. And there's a bunch of pitchers on our team who love to throw the football around, and so it's always fun to sling the pigskin whenever I get a chance. And I think that throwing the football, like you see, like Paul Skeens in his warm up throws the football around, and so there's a little bit of correlation in between those, and you can work on trying to spin the football, and it helps you kind of throw a changeup in a sense. I've heard people talk about that, and so and playing football just helped like as a leadership aspect, especially being the quarterback. I was in charge of 10 other dudes, and so and it kind of helped like everything, like each play, like being a pitcher and a quarterback. It's kind of all on you to make a break to get the ball to the right guy and to throw the right pitch. And so I think like from a mental aspect, those two kind of helped each other pretty well.
For sure. So at South Dakota State, you have a little bit of a Billings tie there with Coach Bishop. How cool is
Hmm.
it to have a hometown guy? I mean, he did really amazing things at MSUB here.
Hmm.
To have a hometown guy as your head coach at South Dakota State, where you're going to college now.
It was awesome. I think when I committed, my mom found an old photo of me when I was 9 years old playing Little League, and he was also uh, Randy Northrup was the head coach, but his Coach Bishop's son Andrew is a year older than me and was on that team, and so Coach Bishop was the first one that kind of brought me away from catching and told Randy that I need to start pitching more, and so it's kind of just a cool like full circle moment to play under the same coach that I was when I was 9 years old, and now I'm 20 years old, and so it's been really cool, and just to have that connection of growing up a little bit with Andrew and being able, like, I'm able to talk to Bishop about anything, and he's like, it's been a good fit so far.
That's awesome. And the really cool thing about all college athletics is you're getting to see guys from all different walks of life and all different parts of the country. How cool has it been for you to mix with all of these different guys and then also bring some Montana flavor to South
Mhm.
Dakota?
It's been cool. I think when I showed up, I still get jokes that half the Montana population we count as cows from some of my teammates, and so it's been cool to get to know all the guys that are from. We have a bunch of Nebraska guys, Minnesota. We have another kid from Montana, Carter Taylor. He's a freshman this year. He came from the Missoula program,
Oh, yeah,
and so it's been cool just to get to know where everybody's from and to see how they grew up and how that affects them and like what they are and who they are as a person.
for sure. And speaking about Carter, I remember him from this last Legion season, and he was a
Hmm.
pest on the base paths. So you
Yeah, he
got a good one
was.
there.
Yeah, no, we did.
That's awesome. So as we kind of wrap this up, I just have a few like
Yeah.
just questions for you. So obviously, I know family is a big thing for you. How important is it to have their support, and how lucky are you to have their support in all of this, and just have them supporting you through everything?
Yeah, I don't think I would be the person I am. I don't think I would be the player I am without my family. They like growing up, especially being from Montana. If you want to play baseball, your travel tournaments or I had a bunch in St. George, Utah, and Spokane, and Bozeman, and Missoula, and like I had tournaments everywhere, and they sacrificed so much time and money to bring me to those places and to make sure that I like if I wanted to do something fun with my teammates that they allowed me to do that when I was away, and so their support means everything to me. Especially with my dad. My dad and my mom try to fly out to the games that they can because we're not very close to Billings, and they can't really come to a lot of games. But whenever they do, it means so much to have them. It means so much to have them out there, and just knowing that wherever they are in the country and wherever I am in the country, that they're watching me and that they know that they've done so much for me to get there.
That's awesome. And so then, if you have a pitcher that you kind of try to emulate your game after, who would that be?
That's I like, at least from the mentality standpoint, I really liked watching Joe Kelly. He just kind of like he got on the mound and he made sure that like he was going to do his business, and he didn't like the other team. Like nobody, he didn't like nobody. And so it was kind of cool, especially with the role that I'll be in this year. I'm focusing more on, I think they're going to use me more as a high leverage reliever in the closer type. And so with that, I can go out there and be pedal to the metal for my 2 innings, and I don't have to worry about the longevity portion. And so I'm gonna enjoy that. And so the Joe Kelly side of just, he didn't care. It was kind of a more or less an FU mentality, and he was gonna get on the mound and he was gonna throw whatever he had that day. And so, but I think from a mechanics standpoint and just kind of being fluid, I really always enjoyed watching Jacob DeGrom, just the way how he threw. And yeah, I try and emulate, like, there's a bunch of stuff now. Like, I try and tell myself I want to feel like Scooble every time I throw my changeup, even though we have not even close to the same mechanics and arm path and whatever. But just because he throws that pitch so well, and with Paul Skeens, how he's just so smooth and fluid and using his legs, and there's a lot of pitchers that I like to think in certain spots that I have, and I would just like to emulate certain things from them.
That's awesome. And then my final question is, baseball is a game of superstitions all over
hmm
the place. There's superstitions with baseball. So, what are some that you have that have worked and that you just have to do all the time?
I think, especially with the Scarlets, we had one for the pitchers. We had a bullet that we would give to each of the pitchers on the Scarlets, whoever was starting that day, and that seemed to work out pretty well for us. But at SDSU, I've kind of always tried to wear the same undershirt regardless of what I've been doing. We can't, it has to be a blue undershirt, but mine, it's always been like a black, kind of like cut off in a sense. And so I try to wear that whenever I can. I think another superstition that I always try to get a good meal in the night before. That's kind of like a regardless, every player likes to have. But for me, I think my pregame prayer has been big. No matter where I am, I try to do that before the game, and it was a lot easier as a starter because I would warm up in right field at dealer, and I would be able to do my prayer out there and then walk right into the game. And so that's a big thing for me as well.
Oh, that's awesome, Drew. Well, another question I have as we kind of wrap up.
hmm
I know that SDSU's in our area, so
hmm
how can we watch your games this upcoming season?
That is a really good question. Some of our games will be on ESPN Plus. We have
Okay.
a 3-game series against Oklahoma State, and so that'll be a fun to go down there and to be at that ballpark, and it'll be a good team to play against. But I will have to text you and let you know because I don't even know how to watch my own games online.
Yeah, text me and let me know, and then I'll put it out there so that we can all support you and watch you this season.
Yeah, we'll do.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on again, and I wish you the best of luck this upcoming season with the Jackrabbits.
Hey, thank you so much, Mitch. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, have a great rest of your day.
Alrighty, hey, thanks. You as well.